Hello everyone, welcome to Pitch and Paddock. Today we're going to dive into Nashville SC's 3-1 win over the Philadelphia Union. We're going to break down St. Louis City SC's 1-0 win over Seattle, and then we're going to touch on the Australian Grand Prix as F1 is finally back. For Nashville, I thought they looked really good out of the gate. They kept the same formation they had in Week 3, that 4-2-2-2, the same lineup. Eddie and Yazbek in the CDM roles again, moving Eddie to the left to get that balance. I thought they looked really happy to concede possession and try that over-the-top counter ball, which I thought got them a lot of success. Definitely a different style than we saw, I guess like what they did against the Red Bulls. It looked a lot different, but it still reminded me of like what they did back in 2022, 23 when they tried to spring CJ and Hani off the counter attack. So, but it worked twice for them. Surridge and Kasim getting goals after getting sprung in over the top. Philly had a banger as well in the 33rd minute. I think it was Jovan Lukic just drove his laces through this volley off a set piece, off a corner kick. Straight banger, beautiful shot. And there was a lot of talk about the refs online with their decisions, penalties or no problem, or no calls. But I really have no problem with any of the calls. The VAR decision on Lovitz where he challenged Quinn Sullivan in the box, I don't think it was a foul. He slid. Defenders got to be able to defend, but I don't think he slid into the feet. He slid to get maybe a thigh on the ball, and Sullivan's momentum carried him into him. I don't think you're going to call that a foul anywhere else on the field, so why do it in the box? Same thing with the header for Hani. At first I thought, hey, it was a 50-50 ball, nothing there. But then after seeing the replay slow down, it did look like the Philly defender got there a little bit late. Put his head into Hani's back of his head and maybe his arm into his back a little bit, but I think that would have been a foul anywhere else on the field too. But a lot of outrage, a lot of emotion, so it is what it is. And Philly did end up getting a penalty late in stoppage time when Dan Lovitz just sent his body like a missile flying into some Philly attacker. But Willis made a great save on I'd say a pretty poorly taken penalty by Quinn Sullivan, and then again on the rebound from the Philly players crashing in. Nashville, I thought they did a good job limiting Philly's chances. I thought Baribo, I was worried about him, but he looked really dangerous a couple of times in the first half, but otherwise, he was pretty quiet after that. And I think this Philly team is the real deal. I think they could finish top 3 or 4 in the East this year. Honestly, they're pretty loaded. On to Energizer Park in St. Louis, where City pulled off what I would consider an upset. Even though Seattle had, they didn't have Areola and Morris, they still have loads of talent. And I think a lot of people have them as favorites in the West. But, City got on the board pretty early. Leuven putting in a beautiful shot into the side net off a free kick just outside the 18. He's another one that's been struggling a lot for City, similar to Klaus. So I'm sure the fans there are pretty excited to see him get on the board. And again, another solid defensive performance for City. Just another one after another one. I think Kessler really looks like he's becoming an elite center back. He looked like Walker Zimmerman back there, just the way he controlled the air and didn't let anything through. I have high prospects for that guy. On to Formula One. What an exciting race. What an exciting time of the year. Everybody just gets so excited when the weather is wet. Like as fans, we get to sit there and watch the strategy, sit on the edge of our seats and look for the pileups. But it was just another one of those days. Crazy, driving all around. 6 cars crashed out, including 4 rookies. 4 of the rookies of the 6 rookies ended their race early, including Isaac Hodger, who on the formation lap spun out into the wall, which was just gutting for that guy. It's got to be super frustrating. You spend your whole life working up to this point to get to this position, and on your debut you run into the wall. But I think everybody feels bad for him. Maybe not Helmut Marko, but I think everybody else feels pretty bad for him, and I think he's a good driver, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure he'll get back. I'd say the big moment of the race was when the 2 McLarens both went off the track and into the gravel. Piastri, he really struggled there to get back on and ended up going to the back of the field, but what can I say about Norris? Right? Lando had just an amazing run. He drove so well, like just keeping Max at bay the whole race, and Max is just a wet weather phenom. Right, so he's just really in his own element when the track is wet and it's raining. So I think Lando did just enough. He drove brilliantly in that car, and really I think he's coming into his own. I think this could be a really long battle this year, or maybe not. Maybe Norris runs away with it and ends up doing it. But the McLarens look really strong.